Change. They voted for, received the highest number of votes of any party, and for that we are right to be proud. Proud of ourselves, proud of the work we did, and proud of those people who have put their trust in us. Last Thursday in the Dáil, our Uachtaráin received the highest number of votes of any nominee for Taoiseach, Mary Lou McDonald.
Uachtaráin Mary Lou.
Was once the headquarters of the ITG and WU, the Union of Larkin and of Connolly, by British artillery, but was faithfully restored afterwards. And so we are proud to meet here, in this place. We would put you, the people, at the centre of the political conversation. And this meeting and our series of meetings is part of us keeping that promise to you. You see, we want to have the conversation about a government for change. They're now looking to Sinn Féin to deliver. They're looking to us to lead. That will reduce the pension age to 65 years. A government that will stand up to vulture funds and the insurance industry. That will give workers and families a break by taking the first €30,000 out of the USC. And a government that will advance Irish unity. We want a government that will meet the climate emergency with climate justice. Sinn Féin wants real change. And I know that all of you gathered here want real change. Certainly the electorate has voted for real change. For the first time ever, neither Fianna Fáil nor Fine Gael won the most votes in a general election. And for the first time ever, they failed between them to win a majority of Dáil seats. It represents a truly seismic shift in the attitude of the electorate, the likes of which we haven't seen in over 100 years. Difficulty coming to terms with the result of the election. You see, they've had it all their own way for 100 years, and now faced with this new dispensation, they are trying everything they can to keep Sinn Féin and the people who voted for us out of government. This is their very deliberate tactic, and we know exactly what they're at. You see,
rents have risen by almost 50% since the last government took office. So we're given a number of very, very clear commitments. First of all, we have to reduce the cost of rent to renters. So we'll put a month's rent back in your pocket. Every renter in the state will get a refundable tax credit that will put that real money back in your pocket in the first year. We'd also then freeze rents for all existing and new tenancies for an emergency period of 3 years, while we'd invest heavily in good quality, public affordable cost rental accommodation on public land to start to increase the supply of rental accommodation that, for example, here in Dublin for a 2-bed apartment would rent for €900, less than half the current rental market. What we'd also do, and you mentioned being a student, is we'd also ensure the same applies to student accommodation. All the universities announced the week before last they're going to start increasing the rents over the next 3 years by 4%. That's 12.5% rent increase over that period of time. And particularly for students from the border region where you are in the northwest, that's the difference between being able to attend university or not. It's not about making it more expensive, it's about preventing you from continuing education. I met with the head of DCU yesterday, I met with the president of UCD and Trinity tomorrow, I met with the president of University of Limerick on Friday, Galway next week, Maynooth the week after that, buying out whole swathes of developments and charging top end rent, €2,500 to €3,500 in Dublin. So in fact, not only should we do what Pearse says for those reasons, but if they then have to start paying tax on their rent roll and capital gains, that will push them out of the rental market and we can start to get good quality rental accommodation for people, not what you're beginning to see all across the city.
Sinn Féin, obviously, as the only party that ever listened to us when we were representing frontline healthcare workers, and the only party that ever had a credible plan to deliver. So the short answer to the question is you won't do it without staff, and the good news is we have a plan to recruit and to retain those staff, and ensure that nobody has to endure the indignity of a night spent on a trolley or on a chair, and that no staff member has to put up with caring for people in substandard conditions. Because when we say you voted for change, you voted for a real and credible plan to address the inefficiencies and the inadequacies of our health service. It can be solved, and it will be solved with the political will, and Sinn Féin have the political will to actually put the staff onto the front line and to ensure that we don't have to watch our elderly relatives and our loved ones spend night after night on a chair or on a trolley in accident and emergency, because that is wrong and it needs to stay.
The problem isn't beds. The problem isn't beds. When the frontline staff are screaming, the problem is beds, the problem is capacity. But isn't it interesting that the review, the capacity review, shows that we need, 2,500 beds by 2030, and our manifesto makes provision for 1,500 over the next 5 years. And there's beds, as Louise could tell you in detail, in the system that need to be opened. And the gas thing is, for a crowd that said the problem isn't beds, they all made commitments for additional beds in their manifesto. Because folks, the problem is beds. And then here's the other question that arises from this. Is Fianna Fáil going to stand in the way of that? That's a question for them. Are they actually going to defy the expressed appetite and desire for change and put Fine Gael back into government? That's a big question for them, and that's a question that needs to be pushed directly for them. So by all means, I'd heard about this demonstration on the 7th. The Dáil will sit on the 5th. It won't be then, if it's suspended, certainly it's not going to be in session on the 7th. So our efforts are going to be around continuing with this work and continuing our conversation right across the state.
In terms of money messages, that we would take them to the courts, and people know that I'm for them taking them to the courts. Like the last time I took Neil Martin to the court over democracy, and I beat him along with his cabinet back in 2010.
Our community is part of our nation, is part of our story, and has so much to contribute to our future. And I'm saying that to you as a person who has lived and who will live her life according to those values. There's no room for division and rancour on the basis of the colour of our skin, or our religious position, or where we came from, or our sexual orientation, all of the things that actually make us interesting, that make this place diverse and dynamic and electric, and that generates all of the potential that we can have. So I want to reassure, and I don't know who put it out there, that Sinn Féin would have such a view in respect of immigrants, but I want to scotch that now categorically for you. I also want to say this, that we recognise that there's a real problem with our immigration system. I mean, you know, we all know this. We have a system that is slow, that is arduous, that leaves people in a state of limbo. And
bring about the change and bring about something better. Our party position is that it should be a uni referendum in the next 5 years. That gives you time to plan, because there has to be transition. You have to plan. We have to give people the information. And the new Ireland that we want to build isn't just for Republicans or for nationalists. It has to be for every single person who shares this island. So there's nothing to fear from that. It's actually something better, because we all have been equally failed. So for me, this is a time for planning. This is a time for us to actually put the arguments on the table. This is a time for those people, for us as Republicans, to convince those people of the British identity that there's something better. And I want to do that. We want to have conversations, and we will go into rooms. Every one of us will go into rooms and take on the conversations and ask and answer the hard questions. But this is the time to plan. And what Leo and me all have failed to do, because they purport to be United Irelanders, well, they've done nothing about it. Not one thing about it. So now is the time to plan for the future and for change. There's a constitutional imperative on the Irish government to plan for change. But yet, no, they haven't done that to date. So our job is to keep the pressure on. Our job is to work towards the India referendum that's coming. And our job is to make sure that we be as inclusive as we can be. And as Republicans and as Nationalists, that we actually make sure that we embrace people's fears, because some people are fearful for change. You know, the very basis of the Northern state was an inbuilt unionist majority. That is now gone. It was built on discrimination. We have no desire to do that on to people. We have no desire. We have no desire for minorities. What we want is an inclusive society. So actually, I'm quite excited about the period ahead in terms of that change agenda, because it carries through, right through all of this conversation. Now is the time to have the plan for Irish unity. Whatever we
issues that were central to our campaign in the elections. It's one of the issues that are central to the discussions that we're having. Others have committed to different type of tax cuts. Those tax cuts benefit the highest income earners in society. We are taking a very different approach. The first 30,000, no USC to be paid whatsoever on that income, and that's our commitment, and that's what we want to deliver in government.
That the dissident Republicans were, or so-called dissident Republicans, had threatened both of ourselves. And I remember at the weekend there I was on an RTE programme, and the first question that I was asked was, do you take that seriously? What a damn question. Of course I take that very seriously. It's a threat against me, and I have a family, I have a mother who'd be very worried about all those things. We are not, we're not unhuman. We are very human people with very real feelings. So I take those things seriously, but I would say this: we won't let anybody deter us, because we know we have a job to do.
Negotiating team with Louise and Owen and a number of others, and we have one mandate, one job of work. That's the only one mandate, and that is to deliver a programme for government, a government for change. That's what we're serious about, and that's every single thing that we've done over the last 2.5 weeks is about trying to secure that government for change, that programme for government change that gives voice to the groundswell of support that our party got, but also other parties and independents who were elected on a change mandate. So we've met with the Greens, we've met with the Social Democrats, we've met with Solidarity People Before Profit, Independents for Change, the Rural Independents, the Regional Independents, other groups of independents on their own, independents as members of families. We've met with all of them, and we put the same ideas together, is that there is a real opportunity here to do something different, that none of us possibly, a number of years ago thought that this moment would come as quickly as it has. And to do that, to vote for her, but that she secured the biggest vote in Mary Lou is the people's Taoiseach. It is our job.